Welcome to Motivation 99, where greatness come to get motivated, the power of why. In a world filled with noise, competition, and endless choices, most people and most organizations struggle not because they lack talent, but because they lack clarity. And Simon Sinek, in Start With Why, gives us the lens that changes everything. A lens so simple, so human, so obvious in hindsight, yet so rare in practice. He calls it the golden circle. 3 layers that determine the destiny of every leader, every movement, every dream. Why, your purpose, your belief, your cause. How, your process. What, your product, your actions, your results. Most people start with what. Great leaders start with why. This is the heartbeat of the book, and the foundation of all truly inspiring Action 1. The Golden Circle, Why Leaders Inspire, Not Manipulate. Sinek opens by challenging the way we operate. Most businesses and individuals try to influence others using discounts, pressure, hype, fear, novelty. These are manipulations. They work in the short term, but they never build loyalty. Inspiration, on the other hand, creates movements. It creates believers. Sinek argues, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. This isn't philosophy, it's biology. The why speaks to the limbic brain, the emotional center that drives decision-making. The what speaks to logic, but logic alone doesn't move the human spirit. 2. Apple, MLK, and the Wright Brothers, why they succeeded. Sinek uses iconic examples. Apple. Apple didn't succeed because they made good computers. They succeeded because they stood for, we believe in challenging the status quo. Every product was simply proof of that belief. Martin Luther King Jr. MLK didn't give the world, I have a plan. He gave it a dream, a vision of what could be. People followed him, not because of him alone, but because his why matched their why. The Wright Brothers. They succeeded over Samuel Langley, a man with more money, more support, more prestige, because their motivation wasn't fame. It was belief. Purpose outperformed resources. 3. Clarity of why. The foundation of everything. Sinek argues that you cannot inspire unless you first know your purpose. But here's where the critical analysis comes in. The book makes purpose sound easy to define, but in reality, it's difficult. The why requires reflection, honesty, and sometimes pain. It's not a mission statement. It's not a goal. It's a cause that would exist even if you never achieved it. The book's power lies in making you ask uncomfortable questions. Why do I care about this? What is the belief that fuels me? Would I still do this if I failed at it? Most people never slow down long enough to ask. 4. How? Turning belief into action. Once you know your why, your how becomes the discipline that makes it real. This is where Sinek is often underappreciated. He doesn't just talk about inspiration, he talks about consistency. You must behave in a way that proves your belief. If your why is empowering creativity, then your how must be accessibility, simplicity, or freedom. If your how contradicts your why, trust dissolves. This explains why. Brands lose followers, leaders lose respect, people lose momentum. The how is the integrity of your purpose. 5. What? The proof of your belief. Sinek's message becomes extremely practical here. Your what, the product, the service, the outcome, is simply the tangible expression of your why. This flips the typical worldview. Most people think success creates purpose. Sinek shows that purpose creates success. But here's the critical nuance. The what matters. The book sometimes risks downplaying execution, but even the strongest why collapses without quality action. Purpose without performance becomes idealism. Performance without purpose becomes manipulation. The magic is in their harmony. 6. The celebrity leader trap. When organizations lose their why. Sinek warns that many organizations start with a clear why, but lose it as they grow. Leadership changes. Pressure increases. Numbers replace meaning. He calls this the split, when a company becomes driven by what instead of why. This is where cultures collapse, where innovation dies, where customers become targets instead of people. His message is clear. Your why must outlive you. It must be the culture, the identity, the compass, not a slogan. 7. The difference between leaders and those who lead. Perhaps the most powerful part of the book. A leader holds a position of power, but those who lead inspire us to follow them voluntarily. Why? Because they represent something bigger than themselves. The book suggests we underestimate how deeply people crave meaning. We crave belonging, mission, and direction. We want to be part of something that matters. And if you, yes you, can articulate a clear why, people will follow you not because they have to, but because they want to. That's leadership. That's influence. That's the spark that turns ideas into movements. 8. Critical reflection. What the book gets right and where it falls short. Strengths. Emotional clarity, simple but profound framework, inspiring examples, a powerful argument for purpose-driven action, useful for leaders, creatives, entrepreneurs, anyone starting something new. Limitations. The concept can feel repetitive, oversimplifies some complex business cases, doesn't fully address how to find your why if you're lost, suggests. Why is the ultimate differentiator, but execution still matters enormously. Nevertheless, its central insight is transformative. Purpose is the ultimate competitive advantage, and more importantly, it's the ultimate human advantage. Final message: living your why. So here is the heart of Start With Why, translated into a motivational call. Don't chase results, chase meaning. Don't start with what you want to build. Start with what you believe. Don't search for followers. Stand for something worth following. Because the world is full of people who know what they do. A few even know how they do it. But the rare ones, the unforgettable ones, the innovators, the leaders, the visionaries, they know why. And once you know your why, the courage to begin becomes inevitable. The motivation to continue becomes natural, and the impact you create becomes unstoppable. Thank you for listening to Motivation 99. Stay inspired, stay motivated, stay great. See you at the top.